Hi guys, Dr. Wendy Dearborn here from the Laws of Attraction in Action. And of course you can find me here on Facebook, the Laws of Attraction, the group and the page, the Laws of Attraction in Action, and the website, the Laws of Attraction in Action.com. Well guys, welcome to our monthly book review. And this month we have been looking at, what's her name? Genevieve Behrend. Genevieve Behrend, and we're going to be looking at your invisible power. Now, one of the things that I would like to say, hello, my darling, that's my pumpkin. That's one of my pumpkins right there. Hi, Mike. How you doing, Michael? One of the things that I would like to say is before I get started is simply this, that the books that I speak about are books that I have personally found to have information and knowledge that I have found enlightening, information and knowledge that I can use, which is why I'm sharing this information. That being said, everybody has to do their own due diligence. Everybody has to do their own due diligence. You cannot, or I don't advise you. Hey, Jamila, and girl, thank you for the reminder. Woohoo, thumbs up to you. You were on point and on topic. So everybody has to do their own due diligence, guys. Just because it works for me, or just because I say it's so for me, doesn't mean that it is so for you. And that's one of the things I think that I am evolving into, should I say, getting my placard out and standing on my soapbox. No, it works for them. You need to understand it's their recipe. You need to create your own. And you can create your own. And guys, just before we kind of launch into the book review, you can create your own. And you know this. This is why you will be able to cook a dish that your mother cooks. And it doesn't taste anything like what mum does. But you're using the same meat, the same oil, the same seasonings, the same everything. So everybody's unique, so you have to put your own twist on it. So once again, for anybody who is just joining us, it's like this. I am suggesting these books because I have found golden nuggets in these books, or things that make me say, you know, things that are thought-provoking. And that's what it's about. It's about provoking that thought so that you can do what it is that you need to do for you, so you can manifest what it is that you want to manifest. But anyway, the book of the month, this particular month, which has been August, can you believe August is over already, is Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Behrend, or Behrend. And you can go to my website, the Laws of Attraction in Action.com, and or Facebook. If you click on any of the links, you will be able to watch or listen to the audio version via YouTube. And I believe that I had the PDF, the free PDF, because this is public domain. That's how old the book is. Free PDF where you can download it and you can read it at your leisure. So one of the things that I loved about this book, and I really loved about the book, and what snagged me, was the title, Your Invisible Power, because it actually spoke to something that I truly believe, that we have these innate powers within us that we just don't even recognize that they're there. And these powers are internal powers. So for us, if we're looking externally, they may show up as invisible. But the title definitely spoke to me. So I've got my notes, which is why I'm looking down, guys. You know, I had to make a few notes for this. This book, Your Invisible Power, really is basically about you pursuing what you want in life, being fearless. And according to how they give the synopsis of the book, it's about being fearless and using visualization. Well, for me, when you read the book, it transcends that for me personally, because the book transcended just Miss Behrend using her visualization skills. You see, it's also about listening to self and using your intuition and using it for what it was intended to do. And your intuition is intended to assist and support you in doing what it is that you want to do in the safest and the most expedient way possible. That's what your intuition does. It's insight from origins unknown, or insight means or information coming in from places and origins unknown. And so this for me was the subtext of this book. Now, listening to your intuition for me was huge, because one of the things is, as you read through the book, or if you listen to it on YouTube, I think it's about a 2.5 hour listen. It's really small. So if you listen to it on YouTube, or if you read the book, you'll see that unfortunately her husband died. And for most of us, when we actually go through I don't know if you want to call it a rebirth or some sort of growth spurt, or I call it a spiritual soul stretch. So if you go through something, usually something has happened to you, and that something that has happened to you, whether it be ill health, whether it be a loss, whether it be financial, whatever it is, it's something that has usually taken us to our knees. And so she went through the loss of her husband, and it was absolutely wonderful, because he did actually leave her fairly well off enough to live a comfortable life. If she wanted to flit here, she could do this, if she wanted to do that. But she wanted more in life. And his passing actually initiated that. It invoked that with her. And she had read, and guys, bear with me on this, she had read some information by a Judge Troad. I think that's what his name was. And I think he was a judge somewhere in India. But anyway, she had read his information, and it really resonated with her. And she wanted to be his student. Something within her said, you need to be his student. And so she wanted to be his student. Well, she lived in America, he lived in the United Kingdom. And this was way back in the day. He lived in some obscure, rustic village. He lived out the way. And she wanted to be his student, and she knew that she would need the money to get there. She'd also written, and he said he didn't take students, but her intuition said she needs to follow through on this. Even though he said he's not taking students, even it was, oh, thank you, Jamila, Troad. Her intuition said do it. Her intuition said do it. Even though everything was saying not to do it. I think even some of her friends thought that she was a bit crazy. But she needed to manifest $20,000 so she could take this boat trip to the UK to go to present herself to some man who said, I don't teach people. I'm retired. I don't teach people. I'm very flattered. I don't teach people. So what she did was she decided that she was going to manifest this money. And every day, I'm going to say for about 20 days, what she did was she saw the money. But not only did she see the money, and this is something, guys, that I speak about in regard to manifesting. For me, she literally became the money. She didn't watch herself touching the money. She, as in externally, she was internally watching herself with her hands on the money, counting the money out on the bed. And what she did was every day she counted, seeing herself from an internal perspective, counting out the $20,000. She went from $1 to $20,000, and she did this every day until that money manifested. And it manifested in a short space of time. I want to say it manifested in a month or something, 6 weeks or something like that, but it manifested in a short space of time. And what that did was it told her that her intuition was right. That validated for her that intuitive information she was having was on point. And so anyway, she decided she'd book a trip. She went to the UK and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, she showed up at said Mr. Trowad's house. And again, he said he's really flattered, but he doesn't take students and yada, yada, yada. And a friend of hers who was with her was saying, why are you doing this? It's almost like to the embarrassment, don't kind of do this. You're acting a little crazy, So anyway, she's following her intuition. Long story short, she goes to see him, and he invites her in because it's pouring down with rain. Typical British fashion, it's pissing down with rain. So he invites her in, has a cup of tea, blah, 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 blah. And as she was leaving, he asked her to he asked her to answer a question. Don't remember what the question was, but she knew, her intuition said, this is really important. If you answer this question, this man's going to give you some play. So she wrote to all her friends in the, you know, religious nuns, blah, blah, blah. She wrote to all these people, and they were all giving her this information, and she knew it wasn't right. And she knew that if she said the wrong thing, that would just kill it. Again, she's following her intuition. And for me, guys, this actual, her story, the subtext of it, or the rod of steel that runs through it, is she was listening to her intuition. Anyway, fast forward, she decided to go and see some psychic. Sorry, I take that back. He was an astronomer, not astrologer, but understood astrology as well. And so she went into the shop. They were shopping. Her and her friend were shopping, and she went in and she wanted to get a reading. And somebody was offended that she would even ask this man to, you know, give her a reading. Do you know who he is? Blah, 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 blah. And they were actually in France then. Do you know who he is? And blah, 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 blah. And so then after that, she got to see the man somehow. And the man was really offended that she was there too. But what happened? He had this cat, and the cat, and okay, all right. He asked her, what do you suppose is the meaning of the verse in the 21st chapter of Revelations? Okay. And again, that was his thing. Anyway, guys, read the book. You want to know? Read the book. So anyway, she saw this guy, and this cat jumped into her lap, and this cat doesn't like people. And so the astronomer / astrologer decided to answer her question. She answered the question. She answered Judge Troad, and he gave her some play. Basically, he gave her some play. He gave her the time of day to get what it is that she wanted to do, so that she could then do what she knew her purpose was, and that was to share this knowledge. And the knowledge is this, basically, from what I got from this, is number one, that she says that you are not your mistakes. And that's something that I say I preach on. That's something that I talk on all the time. You are not your mistakes. You know, if you burn a pot of rice, and I say this to the ladies frequently at Shade Tree, if you burn a pot of rice, are you the pot of rice? No, you burnt the pot of rice. You're not your mistakes. However, for me, Wendy, learn from them. Learn from them. Don't allow them to define you. And this is one of the things that she was saying. You are not your mistakes. And that your happiness, your true happiness, isn't actually found in the external things of life. You know, the house, the car, etc. But your happiness, true happiness, is found from within. And I think from a psychological standpoint, she was coming at this from the deep despair that she had experienced when her husband died. But she's right. It's an internal job, and your happiness is definitely found from within. One of the things that she actually speaks about is the laws of attraction, and or the spiritual laws, the natural laws, God's laws, whatever phrase you want to use, whatever makes you feel comfortable. They are the laws, and the laws are immutable. And she talks about them not being changeable, but what she does allude to is that the laws are malleable, or is that's what I call them. The laws are malleable and will work for you. The universal laws of attraction, God's laws, the spiritual laws, the natural laws given to us to help and support us in creating the life that we want to live, has not been designed to work against us. They've not been designed to work against us. They have been designed to work for us. But you need to understand that the laws, they are immutable. They are unchangeable. Yet still they are malleable or flexible enough to work with who you are, because we are all unique. Again, they spoke about this book, like in the synopsis, about the book being about visualization. One of the things that it's important to understand is that visualization, and I keep saying this, visualization is one of the methodologies that you can definitely use to assist and support you in creating what you want in life. And it is a very viable one. You see, because we tend to believe what we see, but the name of the game is to believe what you see in your imagination, that which hasn't manifested yet. And it's believing that. And as she was saying, you know, her thing was she needed 20 grand to travel from where she was to go to the UK, and she needed 20 grand. And so she decided that every day for however long, she was going to visualize herself counting out $20,000 until she had it in her hand. Well, you see, guys, when you make that kind of commitment and you follow through in your mind, God's laws, universal laws, spiritual laws, natural laws, nature's laws, whatever phrase suits you, has to respond in kind. Has to respond in kind. You see, when you use your visualization like that, you have just, you keep losing my signal. Hopefully everybody can see me. You lost my train. Yeah, when you are consistently, when you're consistent in doing your visualization, especially the way in which she was doing it, as I was saying, that God, the universal laws, you know, natural laws, spiritual laws, whatever floats your boat, has to respond in kind, because you set out an energetic vibration, a stream of energy that literally states, I am. You're not actually asking anymore. When she got into her bed or went into her mental space and started counting, it went from, oh dear God, please give me $20,000 to, woohoo, look at me counting my money out. Look at me counting out all these dead presidents. Look at me count 20,000 dead presidents. Look at me counting these out. And it just changes everything. It changes everything. But I've definitely done some, done video. I've done a webinar on belief, and that's where she went. This book also talks about her profound belief. But above all, for me, it's a really good read. It's a short read. It's a really, really good read, and it's really beneficial in regard to anybody who is stepping on the pathway of truly wanting to engage in utilizing the universal laws, God's laws, spiritual laws, natural laws, to manifest what you want. It's an excellent book, again, with a subtext that speaks about your intuition. Phenomenal. This lady listened to herself. I mean, went across the country, or should I say, went to another country, when she'd been told, I'm not interested in speaking to you, love. Sorry and all that. Don't want to speak to you, darling. Went knowing that eventually he would speak to her. She went knowing, but not knowing how. And this, guys, is one of the, which brings me to a webinar that I've actually already created. It just has to go live. Asking how doesn't help you, because if Genevieve Behrend had asked, how am I going to make this happen? It never would have happened. You see, she knew it was going to happen. She didn't know how. So what she asked was, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do? Look, tell me what I need to do next. Not tell me how to make this happen. Tell me what I need to do next. And these are the nuances for me that I want to bring to people so that they understand the nuance between asking how and what. It's huge. Absolutely huge. It's a game changer. She didn't ask how. What she said was, Show me what's next. What do I do next? Show me what I do next. What is next? And so for me, this particular book, Your Invisible Powers by Genevieve Behrend, by Genevieve Behrend, is phenomenal because it speaks to all of those things. So guys, again, you can actually find this book on my website, The Laws of Attraction in Action. And when I say you can find this book, what you will find is the YouTube link, and you can listen to it on YouTube, and or a PDF where you can download this and download it and read it at your leisure. And of course, you can buy it from Amazon, you can buy it from Audible, all these sources. You actually can buy it. So it's well worth keeping. For those of you who actually read the book, I know that you read the book, Jamila. So I'm curious, short, on topic, on point, what were your thoughts about the book? Because hopefully you're still with us, Jamila. But I'd be curious to know what your thoughts were about the book. And again, for me, it was really good. It's worthwhile reading. It is a very small book. It's not thick. It's a very small book. And it's an easy read. And it does give and impart some serious information that you can definitely use to assist and support you as you move forward on your journey. Okay, there you go. Jamila said, I was definitely inspired by the thought of moving on intuition. And that was huge. I mean, you say that, Jamila, and again, for the people who, again, write the synopsis for the book, they're all on this thing about visualization. What jumped out for me was the intuition. This woman acted on her intuition. You know, it acted on her intuition. And Jamila says, I'm working on an intuitive move right now. And that's it. Exercise that universal law of silence. Keep it to yourself, guys. I'm huge about that. Do not speak on what you are doing. It just adds layers and layers of energy that you might not need to work your way through. But working on your intuition is absolutely huge. And for me, that's the steel rod that runs through this book. So guys, our next book is going to be Prentice Mulford, I believe, Thoughts Become Things. I will upload that information. It's the 31st. Actually, I'll most probably upload that information today. So you'll be able to access the PDF as long as I can find one. It's public domain, so it should be easy enough to find. So the PDF and also the YouTube link so you can listen to it. So our next book is going to be, I think that's right. I didn't bring my notes down on that. Thoughts Become Things. So guys, until next time, look out for the webinar. I'm going to be doing a webinar called What Next? The power to be found in that. And of course, Olivia Lashley, my sidekick, or should I say my co-host from My Life, My Choice, will be back next week on air. We've been off for a month. And as I said to Jamila in a private message earlier, she asked me, are we doing the book review? And I'm on holiday and my mind just went way. No, it is Prentice Mulford. Thoughts Become Things. No, it's Prentice Mulford. This was before Mike Dooley. I mean, Prentice Mulford, I think, was from the 1800s or something like that. But it will be on my website. But no, it's not Mike Dooley. Although I do know Mike Dooley took. That was one of the rocks that he built his foundation on. That was one of the rocks. So guys, look on the website. We'll be back next week on the radio. I'm going to start doing a fire talk. So I've got some other things coming down the pikeway. So look out for them. I appreciate you listening. I'm glad I said something about... Yeah, so I'm really glad you said something about the book club, because really, I was on vacation. I was truly on vacation. I was like, oh, Wendy left the building. But no, I appreciate that. So guys, once again, thank you for listening. If you haven't read this book, you can definitely find the archived information on the website. It will go archived tomorrow. You can find the archived information on my website, The Laws of Attraction in Action. And until then, guys, Jamila, as always, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Michael, everybody else, Cece, everybody who joined in, everybody who listened, I appreciate you guys. Love you. Until next time, I'm Dr. Wendy Dearborn. Peace.